Okay, I believe I'm introducing myself. So this is Cristol O'Loughlin. I am founder and CEO of Angel Aid Cares. And we're going to go ahead and get started with this next presentation. I'll just give it one more moment. I believe the live event is not showing my screen, so maybe I'm not introducing myself, so we'll just see. All right, Sinead, does that mean I should go ahead and start presenting? Please continue. Okay, super. All right, well, hello. Thank you so much for joining. I am just thrilled to spend the next 25 minutes with you, and I just set my timer, so I want to make sure that we are live and ready to go here. My name is Cristol O'Loughlin. I am the founder and CEO of Angel Aid Cares, and I'm joining my two panelists, Dr. Jane Simmons and Dr. Sarah Schwartz. Both have focused on the physicality, the physical activity, and I'll be focusing today on the mental health and wellness side of this experience that we all have within rare disease. And first of all, I would just like to dedicate to two rare mothers. Erin Pop and Robin Powers are just two incredible rare mothers. They're part of our community. Erin's daughter, Cassidy, is an EDS patient, and Robin is both an EDS patient and a rare mother. So, so I'm just grateful for the two of them and all the insights that we've gained through our experiences with both of those individuals. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see the Mentimeter presentation. If they can't, for some reason, I'm just going to give you 57580902. That's our code, 57580902. So please go ahead and pop into that Mentimeter presentation, and we'll go from there. Okay, this is actually kind of important. So most of what I'm presenting today has been backed by research, and I will call it out. But also there's a lot of perspective for me as an individual, both as the leader of Angel Aid, but also as a patient and a caregiver. So what we're going to talk about today are a set of tools that are available to patients and to caregivers. So all of us are caring for someone, even if it's ourselves, right? So we're going to do 7 different tools that you can tap into. I'm also, in the context of that, going to share with you my experience within the rare disease community, a rare love story called the Grin and Barrett story, okay? And I promise you, even though it's quite challenging and tragic at the beginning, that there will be a Hollywood happy ending, okay? So if you stick around to the end, I'll share that with you. Okay, let's keep going here because we have a little bit limited time. So first and foremost, my parents are the strongest people I know. Richard and Phyllis met in high school. He was captain of the football team. She was head drill team leader. They fell fast in love. They were married soon after high school, and they wanted to have a large family. So they had a basketball team of kids, 5 children within 8 years. Okay, I'm the youngest. My oldest brother, Richard, you can see is the tallest in this photo. And the reality is my mother was a carrier of a rare disease called mucopolysaccharidosis, MPS disease, type 2, which is also known as Hunter syndrome. So my parents actually really did the very best that they could with the resources and the options that they had available. But unfortunately, David, Jared, and Randy, 3 of my older brothers, were diagnosed with MPS disease, and they passed away at 12, 18, and 19 years old. And what I can say about that period of time is that I remember 2 things. I remember the incredible challenge and burden on my mother as the caregiver. And I remember how joyous and happy I always was with my brothers. So even though they developed the ability to walk and talk and then lost their ability to walk and talk, we as children always had this really strong connection with each other. And I could always tell if they were happy or sad or frustrated or angry or elated, right, in the way that children do. So from that experience, I'm so grateful for the perspective that I have. And in fact, it was Randy's birthday yesterday. So we have a constant connection within our family, even after they have passed. And the work that I do in caregiving and in mental health is dedicated to my brothers. So this question of why me, right? Why is this happening to me? This is a universal question, universal in the humanistic sense of really difficult things afflict all of us in some way in our experience as humans on the planet. And in exploring that topic, the best answer I can give you that I've come across is that truly suffering sows the seeds of empathy. So exploring this idea of empathy, that truly how can we react to each other in an empathetic state, not a sympathetic state where we're sort of the other, right? But in an empathetic state. Yes, I have been there. I've experienced something difficult, as have you. That comes from challenge and from suffering and from difficulty. And there's this incredible opportunity on the planet right now. The pandemic has put so many of us in a state of suffering, even outside of our own rare disease communities and the broader rare disease community. I think that there's a natural opportunity for us to connect with others that are outside of our community in a way that never existed before. And it's this collective traumatic experience that we've been living together that I think is making the general public much more receptive to differences, to challenges, to paying attention. And so I just encourage you to start maybe wearing your heart a little bit out there on your sleeve a bit more. If you've tucked it away, you might be surprised. You might be surprised in how people are reacting to each other. I'm the eternal optimist, as you'll find. So, but I do believe that there's an opportunity in our collective global consciousness to be there for each other. And I really like this piece of research. The only thing a human being can lose in life is a dream. So this is sort of a nod towards release the past, live in the present, live in the moment, find those moments of gratitude and something to be thankful for. If it's, I woke up this morning and took my first breath, then that is a moment of gratitude. Everything into the future is just a projection. It's just an ideal, it's a dream, it's an illusion. It's why we so often are grieving for an experience. It's because we thought, we expected, we hoped that things would be different. We had projected those into the future, and now we're sort of living with these realities of the day-to-day. So I'm constantly reminding myself, my 14-year-old daughter, live in the present. And here we are, right? So 3 generations of women who have had their own journey within the rare disease community. My mother, Phyllis, she's 77, with 3 sons that passed away from Hunter syndrome. Myself, Crystal, as also a rare carrier, and our daughter, my daughter, Jim and Crystal's daughter, Chloe, who will be experiencing her own rare disease journey as she is a rare carrier as well. So the work that we do is dedicated to these life experiences, and I'm happy to share them with you. Just want to point out a few things that, it's uncomfortable to ask for help. It's not our nature. There's almost like this expectation that we have to be so strong and that we have to be so resilient, right? And it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. And we want to give you that permission today. And in fact, asking for help is sort of innate. This baby, we're sort of born with this ability to to ask for the care that we need, and somehow we lose it as we grow into adulthood. But this baby's cry is perfectly attuned to getting the care that she needs, right? Self-care is innate. And what does that cry do? It triggers our capacity for love, right? That's the empathetic response. And here's the challenge. As caregivers, as humans, when someone is in need and they need love, we are here to give it to them, and we give and we give and we give so often, right? That we forget in the process to sort of, wow, like, let's back up for a moment and recognize, yes, empathy is what makes us human. And yes, we are here to give. And then at the same time, what's so important is that we take care of ourselves. So I want to remind you that you are worthy of the same love and energy that you're giving to others. Okay. And so stepping back and just taking those few moments of self-care is so important. Okay. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to prove to you that no matter how busy you are, you can find just a few moments of self-care. So I'm going to ask, if you have anything in your hand, please just set it down, put your feet flat on the ground, and we're going to breathe 3 times together. So you can close your eyes if you'd like. And we're going to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And you can open your eyes. Thank you for taking those few moments, right? And I just wanted to demonstrate to you that no matter where you are, even if you're presenting for 250 people, you can take a moment to calm your parasympathetic nervous system before you come into the house at the end of a long day, or if you're in the hallway at the doctor's office, whatever it is, right? There's enough time for you. Okay, so this concept of self-care is what we want to talk about today, and we have just gone through the first of those micro moments, right? Just in a few moments, we pulled on our number one self-care tool, which is breath work. Okay, there is a clear path to sustainable self-care. Okay, there is a path to developing this sense of resiliency in your day-to-day life and really practicing, like a boxer would practice, this sense of strength. It comes through daily rituals, but not like the ones that take, an hour or 2 hours. It's these little moments throughout the day that will sustain you. And I didn't actually really realize this until I became the patient. Right? So here I was just jamming along in my life. I worked at IBM for 10 years, was running a global advertising agency, went in for a routine mammogram. Well, bam, you have breast cancer. Right? And so everything got, what we're all so familiar with, really medical. Right? And it's that moment of, oh my gosh, right? And taking care of myself, observing others as they were taking care of me. And I'm so grateful to my team. It's good to have a team of people around you, both medical and personal. So grateful to that team. I'm almost 5 years cancer-free now. But what came out of that experience was this recognition that there needs to be balance. Okay. And we're not just talking about physical balance. We're talking about emotional balance, intellectual, social, environmental, financial, and spiritual. It's this holistic and this sort of mindful attentiveness to balance that keeps you in a state of perpetual self-care. And that is hard to do. This is really hard to do, right? As rare disease patients and caregivers and medical professionals and all of us, right? In our community, it's not PTSD, post-traumatic stress. It's CTSD, it's chronic traumatic stress, right? That stress response is just constant. And there's been a lot of research on chronic caregiving and the stress response and whether you're caring for yourself or others, right? So this is relevant to all of us. But the idea here is that when an average person goes through a stressful experience, they go and then they're in a period of recovery. But in our world, we're sort of vibrating at this constant sort of level of chronic stress. And it's because there's this anticipation and rumination about it. And Dr. Sarah Schwartz just talked about that, right? It's like sort of this anticipation of what could be happening, a fear response perhaps, right? And so we want to be mindful of, okay, how do we manage against that? How do we keep ourselves in balance in the context of that? And I want to also just point out this research. There was a really amazing piece of work in Psychology Today that talks about support. Because I think sometimes we get swept up in our triage list, our to-do list, right? So there's a difference between informational support and tangible support, and emotional support and companionship. And we need to be tending to all of these. But what ends up happening is we have these long lists. Informational and tangible support, right, is education about what's happening with our disease, what doctors should I see, how do I do symptom management, whether it's for myself or someone I'm caring for. And then like tangible support, like clinical trials, how do I get insurance, covered? How do I get medical goods? Those sorts of things, right? And what we're talking about in this is emotional support and companionship, right? And those are equally important, and they're kind of this sort of often not talked about piece of support. So we want to make sure that we're addressing both, right? And one thing that we're always asking our community, on a scale of 1 to 10, how supported do you feel in this moment? Because then those give you clues as to what you need to be tending to for your own self-care. So I'm going to ask you this. So 1 means hardly supported, and 10 means extremely supported, right? So this is a poll, and our Mentimeter is going to help us. So feel free to please ask. I'm so interested to see, on a scale of 1 to 10, how supported do you feel in this moment, right? And what we often say is in the 1 to 5 range, right? We need to really tend, this may mean that we're sort of in a bit of a crisis mode, and we may need to call on some professionals to help us through this. We may need to call into our team, our medical doctors or our pastors and ministers, or really just a parent or a trusted resource and say, you know what, I'm not doing okay right now. I really need some support, right? And then if you tend to be in the 6 to 10 range, then you can pull on some of these mindfulness tactics that we've been talking about, yoga and meditation and kind of self-motivated, right? So if you are in the 1 to 5 range, I encourage you to reach out for help. Thank you everyone to answer the poll. It's so fascinating to see this at work. And if you're in the 6 to 10 range, we're going to talk about some more mindfulness and wellness based. But wherever you are, and it changes constantly, right, on the scale of 1 to 10, just know that you are supported and there are resources out there and you are not alone. And isn't this interesting? We ask caregivers and patients, outside of a treatment or cure for your rare disease, what would be the most helpful to you? And look at these really humanistic responses, right? I just want a listening ear without judgment. So if you're asking someone to listen, just say, you know what, just for the next 3 minutes, will you just listen and not comment? I just need to get this off my chest, right? I just want to hear stories that are similar to mine, right? And there's so many amazing mechanisms to do that. Angel Aid is always constantly sourcing stories at Angel Aid Cares on any of our social channels or on YouTube. But you can also find amazing stories through Global Genes, through NORD, through the EDS website. They have amazing podcasts and others. Just the catharsis of knowing, okay, someone else is going through this experience as a patient or a caregiver or a medical professional can be really profound. So seek them out, right? The Rare Disease Channel, you know, is on Amazon now. Great, amazing stories. And then I just need a little time and inspiration to take care of myself, right? So that's what we're trying to do here through this presentation. And that's what Angel Aid focuses on every day: connection, storytelling, self-care, right? Okay, so those are, that's one tool that I gave you with breath. We're gonna do the second now. So I'm gonna ask you to close your eyes again, and we're gonna walk down a path together. Okay, so picture yourself on a path, and you might feel the crunch of gravel under your feet, or the clip-clop of your tennis shoes on asphalt, or the sound of sand softly passing through your toes as you walk along the beach. And if you look ahead on the path, what you see is a rainbow, just a beautiful rainbow. Just imagine the most beautiful rainbow you've ever seen, in all the colors: red and orange and yellow and green and blue and indigo and violet. And as you walk down the path, the rainbow starts coming towards you. And one color in particular starts bathing you in its light. And that color is just getting so bright and just surrounding you with its aura and its light. And that color is just literally infiltrating your heart and your soul and your mind. And you can open your eyes now, okay? And what I will say is that color can be a powerful tool, a really powerful tool, right? So whether it's red, symbolizing the visual support of vitality and action and physical strength, or orange, which is that youthful joy and happiness and creativity, or yellow, that gives you that intellect and that wisdom, or green, all about well-being and abundance, or blue, peace and calm and relaxation, indigo, infinity and spiritualism, or violet, that nobility and sacred energy. Color can be a really, really powerful tool. And I would just love to hear from you which colors of the rainbow came out for you, right? Because what'll happen now is you're gonna start seeing these colors everywhere you go. And sometimes I'll put them on as eyeshadow, or today I wanted to, you know, have this really powerful blue energy going, right? And so color can be something that you can use to remind you that you're supported in the universe, in the planet, okay? So that's the second tool. So thank you all for sharing, and yellow was sort of the winner there, which is really interesting, right? Okay, last 5 tools in the last couple of minutes here, right? So when we talk about self-care, we're not talking about huge amounts of time. We're talking about micro moments a day. And sometimes you just need inspiration, right? Okay, what am I gonna do to take care of myself today? So think of your 5 senses: touch, taste, sound, smell, and sight. We all have them. Some are more dominant than others, but you can call on all of them in your day-to-day life: sight, smell, taste, touch, and sound, right? So for touch, just thinking about tactile, right, and reframing a daily ritual. I used to have this daily ritual at the end of a hard working day. I would have a Budweiser, or 2 or 3, to be truthful. And that ritual was not serving me well, especially as a breast cancer survivor, and all the amazing things that we really want to do with Angel Aid in the rare disease space. So I reframed that ritual into, at the end of the day, I'm gonna put on something soft, and tactile, right? So, so just a soft robe or something soft like a blanket, that can be super powerful at the end of the day. Okay, another reframing ritual. Many of us are making hot drinks in the morning, or maybe if you're British or European, you're having a hot drink in the early afternoon. Okay, so reframing that ritual can be really powerful. I like to add fresh herbs and flowers to my coffee. I call it goddess coffee in the morning, right? So then it becomes something nurturing within my body that I'm doing every single day. Okay, I'm going to speed through the end here because my alarm just went off. Sound, whether it's Bach, Beethoven, or Padma Gordon, we have amazing audio meditations on our YouTube website, but you can also find them anywhere on the internet. Sound can be such a powerful tool for self-care, as can your olfactory, right? You don't have to buy essential oils. You can peel an orange, take a little twist, and use the scent of orange to uplift you and give you a lift in the afternoon. And then sight, always use visual cues. We ship these heart armed with love bracelets to our rare mothers to remind them that they're supported. So it could be a Green Bay Packers sweatshirt. It could be, a soccer team, whatever it is, but a visual cue that you're empowered and you're supported is such an important tool. So just reminding you that empathy starts with you. It's all about micro rituals, sustainable self-care, giving you 7 tools that you can take with you in micro moments a day. And I promised you the punchline on that love story. So even though the difficulty of rare disease drove my parents apart 35 years ago, they actually found their way back together again. They were reunited after 35 years apart. So there's a rare love story in all of this and a Hollywood ending. I'd like to thank you. I look forward to meeting you in the Q&A, and I'd like to pass it over to my panelist, Dr. Jane Simmons.